Hey guys, welcome back to Starcast Remarks alongside James and Chris. My name is Ryan Chambers. Thank you, as always, for being the sponsor for our episodes. To Game Time and to DraftKings. Apparently, I'm having mic issues again because Chris gave me a weird look.
Yep.
Is it still working?
It's working now. You're probably gonna have to keep doing that all episode, though.
Oh my gosh. Okay, anyways, as a Stars fan, there's not much to complain about right now as my mic continues to go down. Someone else talk so I can figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, pretty great 2 periods. The first 2 periods were perfect. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than what we did to the Flyers. And third period was blah, but it's the Flyers. They don't have enough firepower to come back. We'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, it was really puck possession for the first 2 periods from the Stars. They basically had the puck the entire time. And that's a great way to limit chances against.
Okay, let's hope this actually doesn't do it anymore. I'm going to try to keep talking, but we'll see. Anyways, lots of things. Oh my gosh, it did it again.
Yeah, it did.
Just keep going. James, Chris, someone take over the show.
Okay. Lots of things happened. Number one thing, Mavrik Bourque scored in like the first 5 minutes of the game after last game where he looked incredible. I mean, I thought he was due for that one at some point last game. I'm glad he got it in the beginning of this one.
Yeah, he scored not even 2 minutes into the game. And it was really great work in the defensive end to just fight the puck back from the Flyers. And then Dumba with just great sticking with the play, rushing it up the ice and sticking with it till throwing it in front of the net. And Bourque was crashing the net and is able to tip it in.
Yeah, best offensive play from Dumba we've seen all season for sure. I mean, it's also only his second assist of the year, which is kind of shocking, but hey, we'll take it. We'll take a good play from Dumba when we get it. And he had a really good game overall tonight, I thought. I thought it was one of his better ones.
Yeah, I think he looks much better coming back from the injury than he did when he started. I don't know if it was a reset button or the injury was bothering him before or what was going on, but he looks like what we kind of expected, which was good enough to play top 4.
Yeah. And even there, he's not playing top 4. He's playing bottom minutes for the defense tonight, which was actually spread out a lot more evenly, especially compared to last game after Lyubushkin went down early. Heiskanen had 30 minutes last game. So much more evenly spread tonight, and that's good. Heiskanen only had 23, so that's low for Heiskanen, and Dumba actually got up almost to 17. So it's good to see that get evened out, especially against a lesser team like Philadelphia. It allows a little bit of rest for our top pair a little bit,
especially when you know you're going to have the back-to-back on the weekend.
Yep. And that'll be a big deal too. And coming off of a great homestand, we have the winning streak going on right now. I think it's at 6 games now, and you go into that back-to-back this weekend on the road, and it's 2 teams that you should be able to beat, even with the back-to-back games. So really positive looking, even beyond this game, looking into next weekend.
I think I'm ready now. Hopefully it does. Oh, it just did it a little bit. I'm just going to talk loud. We'll have to see how it works out. I agree with you guys on Dumba, by the way. I thought he had a really good first and second period, honestly. His third period I thought was a little iffy, even though he had 2 penalties tonight as well. But that's the best, I think, the best game he's had, at least as a Dallas Star. I'd put it up there. And I know that's not saying much, but I mean, like you said, this guy, he's getting $4 million a year. He needs to be playing top 4 minutes, or at least playing, up there, more minutes than he was. and he's looked good. And if Nils is working out well with Essa, and Thomas, and I say Thomas Harley figures it out with Dumba, and I mean Lyubushkin's been really good with Miro. So I mean, if that works out, just keep it going. And then you could spread out the minutes a little bit more if one pairing is struggling, which is what Pete DeBoer does and what Elaine Nasruddin does. So, I'll give credit to Dumba for his game tonight.
The other awesome thing that they do with the defensive pairs is that they switch it out based off the situation. So tonight, late in the game, you get the penalty from Dumba, the second one that he got. And you actually do see Heiskanen on the penalty kill with Lindell a little bit because it's that important of a kill. I mean, you get that kill and you're pretty much home free, which is what we saw happen. And same thing at the end of the game. The end of the game, really important. Make sure we lock it down. It was Lindell and Heiskanen instead of Lindell and Lundqvist. So I really love what they do with the D pairs. They're keeping them more on their strong side for the most part, which is good for like their regular play. But when they need to switch it up, based off the situation, they're not afraid to do that. They're not afraid to do Harley Heiskanen when we're down. I just really like how they use the defensemen, and they're not afraid to mix up pairs as the game needs.
And Dumba's not looking at a place anymore either. Like I think he's starting to figure out the system a little bit better than what he was. And this was exactly what I was kind of thinking too. Joe, me watching the board goal. No, Dumba, what are you doing, you idiot? Oh, good job. His pinches have been better too. Like the opportunities for him to pinch have been better, if that makes any sense. Like he's not just doing it at random anymore. He's actually choosing his battles at the right time, and it's been really good. So, and again, this is crazy to think that other than the whole Dumba Smith experiment that they tried that tragically failed, the defense has been incredibly consistent this year. It really truly has. It's probably been the most consistent thing from the Dallas Stars this year, and that's crazy to think, considering coming into the season we were like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with the deep pairings? What are they going to look like? And we were like, oh, Otter's fine. Oh, our offense is fine. And our defense is kind of what has been keeping us in games.
Yeah, and the bigger thing with that than just the blue liners is really how the team looks at defense. They see it as a team responsibility. It's not up to the blue liners to have a great defense. It's up to the team to not allow goals in. And that's led to the Stars bouncing back and forth between the top spot of goals against. They've been fantastic at it all year long, and especially the penalty kill, which I feel like we haven't given enough praise to this year. It's been unbelievable. They said that the penalty kill is like 27 for 29. I think that goes up to
28 now.
28 for 30 tonight or something. So they were absolutely insane.
Yeah. And one of the things that Razor was mentioning with the defense tonight was that the forwards were coming back to the front of the net constantly all night long. Even on the goal they had, Duchesne's in front of the net marking the man there.
Yeah, and that's something you can even see down in Cedar Park. The guys that got the call-ups, Ritskovian and now Huru, they're the players that are really buying into that all the way back checking and making strong defensive plays in their own defensive slot. I mean, both of those guys, Huru and Ritskovian, are constantly doing that here in Cedar Park.
Y'all completely read my mind because you talked about the defense, and I was just like, well, the offensive forwards, especially tonight, were very noticeable getting back on the back check and making defensive plays. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I wrote in my notes, good D play by insert forward name here. I mean, it was Duchesne, and then Hintz, and then Robo had a huge one that basically saved a goal. I mean, and those are our top six forwards, right? So our top six forwards are ones making really good defensive plays. And yet they're also finally contributing on the offensive side too, which is very important. So, I mean, there's not much to be complaining about right now with this team. I mean, they're 7-0-2 in their last 9, I believe. They're on a 6-game winning streak. I've lost count now. That's a good thing, a good problem to have. And the only outlier game in that you could probably say is the Minnesota game, where I mean, even before the Minnesota game, they were playing pretty well. It was just that Minnesota game was kind of the tipping point for their inconsistency lately. Like that was it. That's the worst game they've had for a while, and it's been fantastic to watch.
It's funny because last year we had another tipping game with Minnesota, but it was when they just destroyed them. And
Yes.
this time they give up the 2-0 lead in the third period against Minnesota, and they're still our tipping point this year.
Yep, absolutely. And beyond just that they've been rolling, this game even shows another level. And maybe last game too, it didn't quite convert the same way, but it's been super top heavy recently, especially with Marchment and Seguin being out. But I mean, Steel-Bourque and Stankoven line looks fantastic. The other line is really solid too and is getting extended zone pressure. Maybe not as many chances, but they're staying in the offensive zone more than their own end. So it's getting better as this win streak goes on too, and they're winning with different players too. So while at the beginning of this streak it was super top heavy, it's kind of balancing out, and tonight really reflects that.
Yeah, you're right, Ed. I love that you said the Steel line was really good. That was my favorite line in the game tonight. I know they didn't get all of the chances and everything like that, but Steel has been ridiculous this year.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as things that don't show up on the score sheet and stuff like that, he has been lights out amazing. Dadonov has been lights out on the score sheet given his age and his expectation and stuff like that. But Steel is that guy that he just makes a line. Like we talk about all these duos the Stars have, whether it's like Duchesne and Seguin, and then Marchment is a really good third, or Robo and Hintz, or Johnston and Ben. Like Steel could go on any of those three lines and he would make that line productive and be a really good member of that third line, or that third member of that line. So that line has really been good, and especially tonight.
Yeah, and Steele's turned that line kind of into the hustle line for the Stars. Like maybe it's not necessarily the biggest and isn't going to lay a lot of hurt, but they're going to go after pucks relentlessly. And if they can figure out their scoring, which all three of those guys really have been snake bit recently, if they can figure out how to put pucks in the net, then that line could get hot, honestly.
It really is a strange line because these are all forwards that we look at for offense, and none of them have 5 goals yet. So, and they looked dangerous offensively tonight too. They got the one right off the bat, but I mean, they could have scored 3 more in the game.
Yep, absolutely. And I think Stankoven is the perfect example of that too, because like he hasn't scored in forever. I can't tell you the last time he scored. And
November 16th.
There you go. And you still notice him every single game. And you're like, dang, 11's playing great. And like if you're not consciously thinking about how long it has been since he scored, you think he's still playing well because he kind of is. He just can't put the puck in the net to save his life. There's
a reason why he stays in the lineup. I mean, it's not just his defensive play, but it's his motor, it's his hustle, it's everything that he does. And he went through a little bit of this last year too, right? When he came up, he started ridiculous, came in, he had that 5-point game with Johnston against the San Jose Sharks. And then he was kind of absent on the score sheet for a really long time, including in the playoffs. So I think he's going to get over this. I think it's just the schedule is getting to him. And one's going to go in and he's just going to explode. He'll get like 6 goals in 6 games or something like that. I fully expect to see that here soon.
Yeah, and the best compliment Stankoven can get, and the proof that you all need to know that he's still playing really well despite the lack of production. Late in the game, Stars top line of Rope and Robo goes out. Not with Dadonov, it goes out with Stankoven because it's the end of the game. They need to lock down defensively. He trusts Stankoven more than he does the veteran Dadonov. So, I mean, that shows you that he's still playing really well despite the production dropping.
I think it will come. He is just so stinking snake bit. It's ridiculous. But, on the opposite side, we haven't talked enough about him. Mavrik Bourque, I think we're finally starting to see him turn around a little bit. And I don't want to say turn around because it's not like he was really bad to start off the year. It's just that I think we had too high of an expectation for him. Maybe a little bit of an unfair expectation for him because he was such a good scorer at the AHL level and even in juniors. But he gets a goal tonight, and it wasn't like a bounce off the butt kind of goal. He was going towards the net. He gets a stick on it, and he deposits it in the back of the net. So maybe that line can get him going along with Stankoven.
Yep,
Yeah,
all three of them are trending in the right direction.
And over the last 2 weeks, I would say we've seen Bourque slowly get more and more comfortable offensively. I mean, it's just slowly started to show up, and that is something that we were missing from him early in the season. Is that he was a great player, great defensively, but when he gets in the offensive zone, it kind of seems like he's a little lost. And recently, it has not felt that way at all.
Is it just the speed that's kind of throwing him off? Maybe he's finally understanding the speed and his brain is starting to click just a millisecond faster than it was.
I honestly don't know, but he's putting himself in better places now, I think. I don't know if that's just reading the plays better or what, but he's constantly in a spot to score a goal, it feels like now.
Yes, he's making himself available. So I guess we should talk about Casey DeSmith a little bit too. Yeah, he's been ridiculous.
Yep.
He had that really bad game against the Blackhawks, and we really should stop talking about it because the last 4 games he's been excellent. And against Utah, he was elite level in my opinion. He saved the Stars in that game, and now he wasn't all that tested tonight, but there were chances when he made some really good saves.
Yeah, I think he was actually sneaky good tonight, especially in that second period. The Stars largely controlled the game, especially with puck possession, like James said earlier. I mean, 100% in the Flyers zone for the majority of the period. And there was probably 2 total minutes where the Flyers had chances, and they were 3 of probably their best chances of the night. And DeSmith was there to stop every single one of them after being ice cold, just standing there watching his team be on the cycle the whole 5 minutes. So really good mental game to stay in it and stay ready despite not having anything coming his way. So I thought that was really impressive. I thought it was a sneaky good start. Even with under 30 shots, I thought he was fantastic.
I believe it was, I know I can't talk about him all the time, but I watch his videos all the time. The hockey guy, Shannon, went through the advanced analytics with each goaltending tandem for all the NHL teams. And there were very few teams that had both goalies with positive stats, especially when it comes to goals saved above expected and then goals saved above expected per 60 or whatever. And both of our goaltenders were doing really well. Now they weren't ridiculous levels like Hellebuck or Dostal or anything like that, but they're both trending and doing very, very well. And I mean, again, the Stars defense has helped out with that a ton too, just the way they've played. And they're not asking Otter or DeSmith to make giant stops every 2 minutes or so. It's just the couple of chances when the defense breaks down, the goalies are there, and a good chunk of the time they seem to make the save.
Right, and that's what you said last is really the key that makes these games easier. You let those goals in after those breakdowns, you can't really blame your goalie, but that makes this probably a 4-3 game if DeSmith allows the good chances that Philly had to go in. So him being good makes this game just so much easier. Even in that third period when the Stars were looking bad, because DeSmith made those big saves earlier, it's just cruise.
Anything else about this game that we need to talk about? Because I got a couple of things we do need to talk about.
Sure, we'll skip ahead. Who cares about Philly anyway?
Well, I guess we could talk about Philly real quick.
Terrible. We could say that.
Yeah, we could say that. Yes,
played awful. For the first 2 periods of the game, they were completely invisible.
It was honestly kind of sad that I forgot when it was, but Arison he covered the puck after it trickled in on him. He covered it like he was a cat, making sure that it wasn't getting away. And then he shuffles it along the boards, and there's 4 Philadelphia players coming back, and he bounces off the board and it goes straight to Wyatt Johnston. And I'm like, yeah. Dude, what are you doing? I wasn't trying to be mean, but I just sat there and just chuckled and laughed. And Dad was like, "What happened?" Because he was looking at his phone, and I replayed it for him. He was just like, "That's really embarrassing." Really embarrassing.
I mean, his defense didn't help him at all either. I mean, Mavrik Bourque, there's not a stick on him whenever he's at the front of the net for his goal. And then Rope, how do you get that second chance? That second chance should never happen. And I mean, he had it free and clear as a wide open dunk because no defenseman came to him.
I don't blame him on the third goal, though. Wyatt Johnston, that shot was ridiculous. I mean, that was painted for the top corner. It was fantastic there. But the one thing, and we can go back to Philly if we want to, but the one thing I did want to mention is we do have an update on Mason Marchment for the first time, and it's not via the media. It's actually via a podcast. I forgot which podcast it was. There is no broken orbital bone in his face, but he did have a broken bone somewhere in his face. That's as much as we know. But he looks like he's going to be out for 10 weeks is what they said, I believe.
It said 4 weeks.
Maybe it was 4 weeks?
Yeah, it's definitely 4 weeks. And that was starting a week ago. So he's got 3 weeks remaining on that timeline is what they're saying. And that's likely coming back with a full face shield for probably a while as well.
So that kind of puts it into perspective about exactly what I was thinking. They said week to week, and I was thinking probably month to month, which when he's done with that, it's going to be about, I guess, closer to 7 weeks than 8 weeks, but still pretty close to 2 months when he misses. And it's going to be interesting to see what the Stars do when he comes back, because it's like, you kind of don't want to take that line apart with him, with Duchesne, Ben, and Johnston. So what do you do with Mason Marchment when he comes back?
Yeah.
So
real quick, that is from the hard line 3 to 7 from the ticket. That's what that Pete DeBoer interview is from, is where they got that info. So give them a little credit.
Man, I'm just so off. I need to pay better attention when I'm reading stuff.
Agreed.
Okay. All right. Anything else before we do biggest winner, biggest loser?
I don't think so.
Well, I guess we could say hope everyone is being safe with all the inclement weather around the DFW area. We got about 6 inches of snow here, and we're probably going to get more tomorrow. Did y'all see any snow at all, Chris, James?
Yeah, it rained down here, so it's wet. That's fun.
It rained over here too.
Oh, that's
it's very wet here.
Is it in the 30s?
Not yet. Well, I think we're sitting just above freezing here. I think it's like 32 right now.
So it isn't. So it's
yep, it was about 34 degrees when I had to walk out to my car in a downpour. So yeah, that was freezing.
That sucks.
We live in Texas. I did not sign up for this crap.
All right, guys. Biggest winner, biggest loser. Who you got tonight?
Biggest winner. I'm gonna give it to Bourque. Partially retroactively because of his last game. Last game was fantastic for him. He should have scored. He got it tonight, though. I thought he was great. If he can get going, if he can get around a 15-goal season, I would be happy. I'd call that a success for a normal rookie entry. I mean, we've had Wyatt Johnston do crazy stuff. That should be expected. 15 goals, good rookie start. Get to that.
James?
I'm going to give my biggest winner to Matt Dumba. I really think he's played really well since coming back from the injury, and for how much we bashed on him in the first couple of weeks of the season, he deserves to get lots of praise now.
The real answer for me is Matt Dumba too, just because I have no idea if I'm ever going to be able to give it to him ever again, but we'll see. But I guess the one I'll take, since y'all took those two, I'll give it to the Steel-Bourque and Stankoven line. They looked really good tonight. They were a lot of fun to watch. So that's my biggest winner. Biggest loser?
The Philadelphia defense, which was non-existent and very slow. I mean, I know, they were talking about on the broadcast, they're playing a more passive style than most of the league is. Well, if you're going to play passive, when the puck is loose, you've got to really get to it, because you're giving us a head start, and they didn't do that at all. They didn't win any puck battles. They didn't win any battles in front of the net. They looked terrible.
They just had so much time and space. The Stars did. It was ridiculous, and I was just like, you're gonna give Johnston that amount of time to do that? He's gonna take care of the puck. It's gonna be back behind your net, and I don't know. So, James, who you got?
I'm giving mine to Michkov. He had a -3 on the night, but he's also credited with 5 giveaways in his own arena. So that's pretty tough.
For me, the biggest loser is gonna be, I don't know. I'll give it to Erison. No, I'll give it to John Tortorella. I feel bad for him because I don't know what he's supposed to do with this team. and
Lose. He's supposed to lose.
Yeah, I get, but well, I mean, they
maybe
don't
he should
act
bench
like.
Michkov again. That'd help. Take your
I
best player
mean,
off the
Michkov
ice.
isn't nothing either, which is hilarious.
Well, it's just I feel bad for him because he just has no goaltending. They legit have the worst goaltending in the NHL
By far.
It's not even close. It's like an 878 average, team average or something like that.
Yeah, that's a team save percentage.
Goaltending can't really help you when you only score 1 goal too, though. So double whammy.
Yeah, but normally they score 3 goals or more. That's been their average. It's just because they played against the Stars today. One noticeable thing tonight, Chris, you mentioned Heiskanen's time on ice, 22:48 tonight. It was very balanced today. Like I'm actually very surprised with how balanced it was today. And maybe that's well, the reason probably is because they're getting ready for the back-to-back Saturday, Sunday against Ottawa. And then help me out. What's the other one? Montreal?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ottawa and Montreal, which I know they're like, oh, Ottawa and Montreal, but Ottawa is in a hunt for a playoff spot, and then Montreal at one point recently was above the playoff line, and they're playing really well right now. So both of these games are not going to, even though we should win the games because we are a better team, I believe, and we are above in the standings than them. This is still not going to be an easy back-to-back for the Dallas Stars. So maybe that's why the time on ice is a little bit more balanced out, and maybe we'll see Brendan Smith get in a game for one of those two.
Montreal should be tough. I mean, they've been on fire recently. They're 8-2 in their last 10, and one of those losses was to the Chicago Blackhawks. So they're taking down tough opponents right now.
And they're on the bubble for the first time in a while. So they're going to be hungry, I bet.
Weren't they the ones that beat the last 4 Stanley Cup champions in a row, if I remember correctly?
I don't know. That's a stat you should research before saying, probably.
I remember seeing that somewhere. I swear so they have beat Vegas recently. I know that. They beat Florida recently. They did beat no, it wasn't St. Louis.
Yeah, let's keep thinking through this. Your interesting stat for the night is Steel led forwards in time on ice with 17 minutes. No one else had 16 minutes. That's crazy.
That is quite strange. That is very strange. But
yeah, he played good.
Yep, he played very well. Okay. I think that's it. You got anything else, guys?
Nope.
Okay. All right. We'll be back with you guys again on Saturday when the Stars take on, is it the Canadians first or the Canadians? And it's a 6 p.m. start time for that game. And then Sunday is a 4 p.m. start time for that game. I remember the start times, but I don't remember the opponents for some reason. Go ahead and check out sarcasticremarks.com for all the latest info there. Please consider leaving us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast. Click like and subscribe if you're watching here on YouTube. And as always, thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook and Game Time for being our sponsors. Social media at StarcasticR, anywhere and everywhere. Along with Chris, along with James, my name is Ryan. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Hope you all have a good, fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are listening. Chris, what you got?
Fly away, losers. GG boys.